5, 4, 3. Oh, we started. Hey, how's it going? Hi. Welcome to another Saturday with the Ouchcast.
And with us today are Angel's balls. This guy's lost them. We have them right here for you guys. We're going to hand them out as a giveaway. Guess what?
One of them is blue.
Nothing's in him. Nothing's in it. You got nothing in your balls, bro. Your Weibles are empty. Your Weibles are empty.
And joining us today with Isaac is, again, Cisco. Say hi, Cisco.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Empty Weibos. Hey, by the way, Weibo prices are lower or higher. These ones are free.
Isn't it weird how he's obsessed with my balls? Moving on.
I mean, because we got them right here. It's like they're fresh. They're like straight off the farmer's market. 2 for 1 sale.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
One of them is blue.
I feel it in my plums.
It twisted. You know that actually happened to remember Jason Nunez?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
One of his
Testicular
what's it called? Yeah, testicular distortion, is it? Torsion, yeah.
Contortion.
When we were in high school, he was in a lot of pain in one of his testicles, and I guess it's a condition. I don't know. Fill me in, Mr. Teacher or Cisco. But basically, I guess one of the nerves that produces the sperm or something twists for some odd reason, and it was cutting circulation to his testicle, and it was like so extremely painful where they had to actually like snip the nerve off to have him basically have one nut from now on.
So from
they didn't take it out, right?
So Dr. McCartney,
he still has 2.
You know what? We always joke with him and tell him that he only has one. He says himself, "I only have one nut." But he has the other one. It's just not. Actually, no, they did take it out because it did shrivel with the twisting. Yeah. They had to take it out because.
Well, I hear like the pain described in a 1967 medical manual by Dr. McCartney. If they get twisted, you shout. Get it? Yeah. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout.
Twist and shout.
Can you imagine that happening to you? Like, I play with my balls all the time. All the time, okay? And it hasn't happened. Okay, you guys do it too. Don't lie, man. You sit in the toilet, and if your phone dies, dude, I mean, you're gonna check them, dude. How else do you know if you got cancer on them? And you need to shave them. And how about the bat wing? You remember like waiting? Like, dude, you recreate your favorite movie scenes on that.
Helicopter.
Helicopter.
No, that's disgusting.
So I'm just saying, dude, like, it hasn't happened to me yet. My balls are not shriveled.
I love how you say yet.
Well, I mean, because I'm not going to stop playing with them just because I'm talking about it now. We haven't quite reached an inflection point in my life where I feel like I'm ready to stop playing with my balls. I mean,
brother,
I'm going to go home
part
and do
2.
that.
Brother, ew.
What's this?
What's this,
brother? Ew, what's this?
That's fucking disgusting.
So, anyways, contortionist, I feel like Cirque du Soleil doesn't have a position open for that.
Wait, bitch.
Oh my God.
Poor Jason Nunez, man. My heart goes out to you, man. You got a shriveled ball.
No, don't be so sad about it. Because even with one testicle, he had 4 kids.
Oh.
So
the other one was working even harder then.
Yeah, overtime.
Overtime at the old factory.
At the
old swimmer factory.
Dang. If he has one nut and he had 4 kids, imagine how many kids he would have if he had a full set.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't. What's this?
Wait. Not a party till the wieners come out. Okay. So on the previous episode, he was proclaiming his love for wieners. I just proclaimed my love for my balls. And this guy now just says it's not a party till the wieners come out. Now, I'll tell you what, I don't want to be in any party in which anybody's wieners come out. So I'm good with that. I will not go to a wiener party. I
Sausage fest.
You know,
They
like
put him on the grill.
too many dicks
on the dance floor. Too many dicks. Too many dicks on the dance floor. Too many dicks.
Oh man, the second Flight of the Conchord reference on our show. I love that. I love that show.
That's a great show.
They got to bring it back.
I'm glad it finished what it did, though, because I mean, I think they were gonna like.
They were running out of material. They were writing songs for the last season. They were writing songs specifically for the show where their previous show was all material.
All their list.
So they had great stuff like Bowie in Space and the
most beautiful girl in the room.
Right, or how about
Rhymenoceros versus the Hippopotamus
and Rhymenoceros and dude, like what about that reference to West End Girls from the Pet Shop Boys, also with David Bowie in the pressure.
Inner city. Inner city pressure.
Inner city pressure.
Yeah.
Great music on that. And the second season had good music too, but it wasn't.
But you could tell that it wasn't as polished is the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah. So there was a lot.
I mean, there were some great songs like Fashion is Danger.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You know, or Petro, Yayena, and Me.
Oh, what about Party? Is it the
Prince of Parties?
Prince of Parties?
That was in the first season.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, on the second one, they mentioned him.
Oh, you're right. Okay, that's why I was getting mixed up.
In Too Many Dicks. No. Sugar Lumps.
Okay, that song was great.
That song was great. That song was amazing.
You're right. That's true. That it was a reference on that because he comes out like in that in the kitchen like scene where he like shows up.
And that ending to that series is hilarious. Back in New Zealand as sheep herders. Yeah. That is a great way to end that show. I don't know. It was great. And did you see the reunion special on HBO?
Yes, I did.
That was great too.
Yeah, it was. They were in London, right?
Ian from accounting. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in 2018, was it?
Yeah, 2018, 2019.
So, you know, so I was watching this thing about because they would fall under like not mockumentary because they weren't trying to pretend that they were like a documentary, but they kind of in that same, you know, like space where, you know, you have to like you're mocking a popular sort of thing where for them it was like folk music. But I was watching this thing about like formulas that are applied to documentaries.
Yes.
I just recently watched the Robbie Williams
how was that?
So it's called Better Man, and it's such a mind bender because on one hand it follows the traditional formula that all mockumentaries, or I don't know what to call that, biopics fall under, where
musical
you have
biopics.
Like, you have a child who is like who's different and has adversity and has all odds against him, but is told he has a chance and has somebody that believes in him. And then down the line, he becomes a big star against all odds. And then he falls into drugs.
I can't wait to the Trump version of that formula.
Right. Yeah. And so, and then of course,
but
at
he
the
doesn't
end,
fall into drugs.
but you know, he stays the same. And then he just teams up with another like billionaire who's like a ketamine addict. So, you know, the story goes on. There's a sequel. So in the biopic formula, you know, at the end, you know, you have the redemption and suddenly everything's all okay, right? And you see it in the Elton John one.
Rocket Man.
Yeah, you see it in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same sort of thing.
You see it in the Elvis movie.
I mean, dude, in Bohemian Rhapsody, dude, like it's such a sad ending because, you know, they do Live Aid and that's where it ends. But no, the guy went on and like died because of AIDS, and it's sad, you know. Kind of, you know, like faded away. Yeah. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this up. Have you watched the Dewey Cox story?
Walk Hard. I love that movie, and everything about that movie is chef's kiss.
So the reason that movie is so funny, like every joke lands, is because they were very specific and very intentional about wanting to be an Oscar contender.
Dewey,
for
get out of here. You don't want any of this shit.
He goes, why?
Why? What is it? It's weed. Is it addictive? No.
It's the least addictive drug. He goes, but you don't want this. And he goes, is it expensive? No, it's the cheapest drug on the market.
I don't want to feel high. No, this is the opposite.
Yeah, it actually mellows you out.
It mellows you out so much.
He goes, I think I want it. I think I want it. Yeah. So the movie was written and filmed. And in fact, they convinced the studio to give them more money in order to make the movie look as good as it does, because they really wanted the movie to feel like a real biopic.
Yeah.
It followed all the same formulas. It had all the same story beats. At the end, they were really trying to go for the Oscars. Like that's how the actors all
They played it
approached
straight. They played it straight with my favorite part of that movie, though, real quick, I gotta say, is Jack White as Elvis. Classic. The Beatles.
Oh yes. Jack Black and
Paul Rudd,
and I forget who the other guys.
and oh my God, what's his name? The skinny guy from Jeepers Creepers. What's his name?
Justin Long.
Justin Long, and I forgot who the fourth one
With
was.
their really bad Liverpudlian. I don't know. I'll look it up.
But the funny part is they're really bad accents. They look nothing like them. So in order for you to know that it's the Beatles, they're going around going like, I don't know. What do you think, John Lennon? That is like, that is so. I don't know. That movie is still to this day one of my favorite like spoof movies out there. I guess is the way to describe it. Who is it?
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking up, but keep on talking, bro.
Oh, blah 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 blah. I also like how they do the whole. They're making fun of the Ray movie, the Ray Charles movie, and then he's like with the big old gash and the accidents and the flashbacks, and he's like, I gotta walk, ma. I gotta walk hard, and then he looks up and like,
that's another thing. Like, so one of the things they said about like in the biopics, the formula is that in order to progress a story, you have tons of montages. You have to, right?
You have to,
because you have to transition
the progression of time. Yeah,
and then but then they also do like
do it in a montage.
And another thing you have to do is show these artists like come up with their songs mid-sentence, right? Like it's always like in that moment, like in the middle of a talk, a conversation. I mean, when you hear musicians talk about the way they write some of their hit songs, yes, it does happen fast. Like you'll have like oftentimes like some of your more favorite songs in an album were written at the end of the record process, and usually the writers will say something along the lines of like we weren't even going to put this as part of the record, but at the end we needed another song.
It's so cliche though,
and it happens though. But that's
always
the thing.
a line like that in one of these movies, right?
Well, what I was saying is that real like performers actually say that, and I believe the reason that happens. I do believe the reason that happens is because when you're like writing a song without any pretension, without any care of trying to make it this grand thing, sometimes you just come up with the thing that's the most appealing to you.
Yeah.
And what's most appealing are the melodic stuff, the interesting stuff, the very short stuff, the very kind of superficial things. But in that, a genius will find a way to instantly inject creativity into it, and it becomes this awesome thing. You see it in all performers, but you're right, where you say that that cliche though always plays out in these biopics. So for sure, in Walk Hard, he like in the middle. I think he was having an argument with his wife, and he's about to say something, and she goes, "Don't you dare write a song in the middle of this argument!" And she runs away. Yeah. I love that. That I started cracking up in that. But that's the reason those jokes work and that sort of thing, because we see the formula and we laugh at it. It's such a good stuff. To answer your question, by the way, it was Jason Schwartzman playing Ringo Starr.
Jason Schwartzman.
So Paul Rudd was
another
John
Coppola.
Lennon.
Jason Coppola.
So yeah, and so Paul Rudd was John Lennon, Jack Black was Paul McCartney, Justin Long was George Harrison, and Jason Schwartzman was Ringo Starr. And these guys don't look anything like them, don't sound anything like them. It was hilarious.
It was the best part. And then Jack White, they were both there, Jack Black and Jack White. But Jack White as Elvis, I love it because the nonsense where he's like, no. And then Dewey Cox is like, sure thing, Elvis. like you understand what word he says.
You got to say the name of the character just so you know.
Just so you know who it is. Yeah, sure thing, Elvis Presley.
Yeah. So I love that idea though that a movie can come out and just turn a genre on its head.
Yeah.
And so much so that biopics afterwards have gone out of the way to try to not follow the formula, but you can't help it. I mean, it's just a biopic doesn't work without some of these formulaic stuff. And so Better Man tried to the Robbie Williams one tried to turn it on its head by creating the main guy. Instead of like casting somebody who looks like him, they casted Robbie Williams as himself, but
Turn him
they
into a chimpanzee?
CGI'd him as a
Mile.
they CGI'd him as a monkey.
Yeah, he's a chimpanzee, right?
It's so weird, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still surrounded by other people who look like performers. There's this one scene where he's with Liam Gallagher, like and Noel Gallagher in some party, and the guys are clearly trying to be like them, like it's just so jarring seeing him. But here's my question to you. Like, do you know Robbie Williams' body of work? Like, are you familiar with a lot of his music?
Yeah, I used to follow him back in the days, but I'm drawing a blank on most of it. But I think he's a very funny guy more than a musician. I think he's a great musician though.
So the thing about the guy is
He was huge on Moulin Rouge.
was he in Moulin Rouge?
He wasn't in the movie. He was on the soundtrack. He was one of the creative musicals behind the
that's
scenes and stuff.
interesting. That's interesting.
And he actually helped a lot of stuff. And he also did like stand-in video work before that Ewan McGregor came on. So there's video out there with him singing with Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. I think actually he also did a music video for Moulin Rouge.
So
But he's not on the soundtrack, which is weird. But anyway, go on,
he's
continue.
a fantastic performer. He's funny. He's charismatic. He really talented singer.
Great storyteller.
Ugly as hell though. Like that's the thing about it. He's not a traditionally handsome
Huge pecker.
guy.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I mean, have you looked at? Well, were you at the party in
No,
which
me
said
lo
Wiener
imagino.
came out, Angel, and that's why you're wearing a hat?
I'm just imagining it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, sassy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Ooh.
this guy's zesty, man. You kids know what I'm talking about. So,
Wait, this guy's sassy. You kids know what I'm talking. No, the views of Enrique are not the views of the podcast.
cochino. Anyways, so Robbie Williams, really talented guy, not traditionally handsome. So they play him as a monkey, which I think is supposed to be playing on that. But I also think it's to subvert the whole biopic formula. But he's known because he was in a late or mid 90s boy band called All That.
Yeah.
And he burnt out because of drugs and all the usual
And all that.
all that. Shut up. And then here in America, his first big hit was a song called Millennium. I mean, that's what I remembered him from. But the big song, like the worldwide hit, was something Angels. I forget what the actual name of it, but it was called Angels. But he's known for a bunch of other stuff.
He also did a remake of We Will Rock You for the movie Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger and Paul Bettany.
He did a whole lounge act album. I forget what what would you call them,
Compilations?
no, what that type of music you call it. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Lounge,
But
Lone Fire,
no. It's
vocal.
no, you're like putting new words in my head, and I was about to get it. It was
I was gonna
right
put something
there.
else in your mouth,
It was
but-
in the miasma of my brain, and then you threw in new words. Way to go, Angel. Way to ruin it. So that's how he does that. But now you can see his fat.
Oh,
cheeks.
that's right. Now you see how I do it on.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so he did a cameo on The Lovely, the movie. Did you ever watch that one?
No, didn't
Okay,
see it.
so
I know, but I don't.
it's a biopic on Cole Porter. Same stuff. There's a lot of biopics here. And in Cole Porter was known for writing a bunch of the great songs of the early 1900s, and one of them was a song called "The Lovely" that was turned into a musical revolved around it or whatever. He performed it, and he was fantastic in it. He did also Beyond the Sea. Finding Nemo, right? Somewhere beyond the sea.
He sings it better.
Somewhere waiting for me. Yeah, he does actually. Why do we have to waste people's time with
Yeah, stop talking. So, movie. Have you seen the Pharrell Williams one?
No, I'm done talking.
Oh, I hurt his feelings. Oh, he has feelings. Everybody.
Remember, it said translucent dark skin. I'm like,
Well,
why are you making me cry?
Pharrell Williams did a Lego one.
Did he? No, okay. Actually, I'm interested in it. I heard about it. I
haven't seen it. It's
don't
on
know
Peacock.
anything about it. I
know it's on Peacock. I just
Did you
haven't
say
seen it.
what you talking about? Cock.
I said Peacock. I pee on the cock.
Yeah.
But
So, dude, you know what? Let's talk about movies that we're actually gonna watch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm
not the stuff that we're never gonna watch.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right.
I like Pharrell Williams music.
Pharrell. You know what's funny? I call Will Ferrell Will Ferrell, and it drives my wife upset. It gets her upset, but it's like I'm so used to Pharrell Williams.
This is so confusing because we got a lot of Williamses on this discussion. I can't keep them all in line.
Robin Williams,
Pharrell Williams. I mean,
Will Ferrell. It's a sucker. It's a sucker.
Pharrell Williams.
Pharrell.
You told that just went right over your head because I actually meant it when I said Pharrell Williams.
Williams.
You could have jumped on my bones on that one.
No, leave it alone.
Yeah. So I'm not going to watch it. I like watching that sort of stuff, like musicals, particularly in clips. So thank God for YouTube. And same thing with like Better Man. I would have rather just watched like clips of it. The movie itself is not.
Is it worth watching or not really? I love musicals. I love.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
as a musical, yes.
Okay, then I'll watch it.
There's huge set pieces. In fact, because he CGI'd as a monkey, they have a lot of creative license to just go really all out with the musical numbers. Yeah, exactly. The fantasy aspect is really played up because, so for example, one of my favorite songs of his is one called it's called Rock DJ. It's Rock DJ. Yeah. And in the video is actually great. He comes out and there's a bunch of women like roller skating around this like circle, and he comes out from the middle and he's singing and he's trying to get their attention, but they all look completely bored. And as he's singing, he starts taking off his clothes, trying to get their attention. They ignore him. He gets down completely to his underwear. They ignore him. He takes off his underwear and then he starts ripping off his muscle and bone and throwing at them. So by the end of the video, he's nothing but skeleton. It's That's a great video. It's really funny and weird, a little jarring because as he's throwing the meat, it's all flopping and it falls on the ladies' faces and they're getting all bloodied and it's really jarring.
And they still don't react to it.
Well, that's when they start reacting to it. Once he gives them like his blood and skin. So it's, I don't know, some weird commentary maybe. I don't know. I just think it's really great.
Well, yeah, give me. I'm giving you all even my flesh.
Yeah. So that song is performed actually as part of a sequence where him and the rest of his band members from all that are getting signed for the first time into a record label, and so they all sing that song together, and it becomes this big number out in the street where everybody's just like dancing and singing, and it's really bombastic. It's actually really quite interesting.
I'm starting to get my wife into musicals a little bit.
Okay.
She saw Wicked with me and she was like, I really liked it. So I'm trying to introduce her slowly into things. I was going to do Cabaret, but I think she would not be into that.
Yeah, Cabaret's you have to be really into musicals to get into that. That one's a hard one.
Yeah.
It has great music.
Money.
Well, like the vehicle, man.
Venue. Yeah.
Great intro, but it slows down really fast.
Yeah.
Have you watched Hedwig and the Angry Inch with her?
No, I haven't gotten to that.
Put her onto that one.
I was actually going to do Sweeney Todd next.
Oh, that one's fun.
And Repo the musical.
No. Do Hedwig if you have it.
But I've been wanting to take her to actually see a musical. Like,
okay.
I missed the Book of Mormon, which sucks. I missed Beetlejuice because there was nothing available at the time.
Okay.
The funny part is the only time we actually went to the Pantages was just like for a date night. It was spontaneous, and we went to go see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yeah. And then you said that was really good, right?
It was okay. It was great story. Great acting, great special effects, amazing special, like over the top, like wow, that was an amazing special effects stuff they were doing there. My complaint, of course, is, it wasn't just me because I've read it online as well, and my wife said at the same time when I told her, she's like, yes, the pacing.
Yeah.
It's a large story, and if I feel like they're trying to fill everyone into the world of Harry Potter, kind of like spoon feeding them forcefully, quickly, as like quick, eat this, to catch them up so they know what's going on.
Right.
So on the first act, the way they're having conversations, the way their dialogue is not very natural. It's very like transatlantic, like the quick talk, like, hey, let's keep on going over here, and then let's go over here. It's very sped up because they're trying to get all the information in before they can actually get to the natural set. So that's the problem with it, that they're trying to give you so much information that the pacing of it throws off the story so much. So you're like, wait, what's going on? Like, it really is a little off. But after a while, after the intermission and all that, they slow it down and it gets way better.
So have you heard rumors that they're going to turn it into a movie?
Yeah, I heard rumors and I hope they do because it is a great story.
It's begging to become a movie. From what I understand.
Although there is some, what is it called? What's the word I'm looking for?
Controversy?
Well, yeah, there is some controversy on it, but there's a, what is it? Is it gay baiting? What's the term?
Gay baiting.
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to blank. But basically,
Can
can I give a spoiler away on it?
What you do on Friday nights? You go out there and you...
Yeah, you remember. You were there. You were my bottom. But remember, it's the story of...
Stop casting me in your weird sex fantasies, bro. Like, I mean, look.
Stop winking at me like that then. So anyway, the story takes place, of course, in the future, and Harry and all the class are all adults now, and it's the story of Albus Severus. I won't say Snape, but Severus Potter
His kid.
and Scorpio, which is Draco's kid,
Right.
becoming best friends, right?
Yeah.
And they're both in the House of Slytherin and all that. Now the way that
So wait a minute. So okay, is that the spoiler that
Albus,
Harry Potter's is he's
Slytherin.
Interesting.
They're both Slytherin house.
Oh, wow.
And they become best friends.
Okay.
And they become very close. They're kind of outcast at first because Albus is like, oh, it's the son of Harry Potter. So everyone's like, oh, he thinks he's the shizzle, as they say.
Well,
but,
I mean, dude, he's like Slytherin though. That's insane. So I'm sure there'd be like a big backlash within in world against him for that too.
there is. So that's the whole thing. They're kind of like
interesting.
They're kind of outsiders, and so they become each other's best
Yeah.
friends. They don't really hang out with any of the students except for maybe Rose, which is Hermione and Ron's kid. So, but she doesn't really. She's like more of a friend of the family, so she's not really in the picture. She just pops up.
And she's what do you know?
She's Gryffindor.
That's dude. See, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. So she's Gryffindor, and so she's not really part of them. It's only them two.
Yeah.
Now, the part about the play that I was kind of like a little confused about was the way that they play the Albus and Scorpio. I don't know if they did it to. I don't think it was intentional, but it seems romantic in nature. It does not seem to be friend in nature. There's a lot of heavy innuendos about them being romantically involved, which is great. I don't mind it. I think it's actually a great touch.
It's like the Japanese. There's a genre, yaoi. Is that what it is? Like where you have boy love, where these two characters are there. You see it. It's a heavy trope in most anime as well. Even it is in yaoi. You'll see like where oftentimes the male counterparts, friends, or even the frenemies. Yeah. There's always this sort of like kind of tension between them that you can almost say it's verging on interest, right? So that's wow, that's interesting. Dude.
I want to also show this. I got this pen there because they have the new Slytherin logo. If you could,
there's a new Slytherin logo.
All the logos were redone.
Okay.
Also, I pass this to you.
Yeah.
The Voldemort one is insane. I got a mug. I didn't bring it.
That's cool, man.
But it's very simplified, but it shows you exactly what it is.
See, I get why they would do this too, considering that now you have a main hero who's Slytherin. You got to make the symbol a little bit more noble. Yeah. Because there's a nobility to this visual, I think, where I think their previous one was a lot more darker, which it was meant to be. Because like in fiction, you're always going to want to give shorthand to visuals. Like you want to know who your bad guys, your good guys are. And I mean, when you have so many different characters and so many different houses that have like representation of different temperaments, you got to give people shorthand, otherwise you get confused. Like it's easy to look at a Gryffindor and be like, they're the heroes, right? I mean, the colors, the eagle himself,
the gold and the red,
it's just like instant like hero. That's why for me it's so interesting to hear that you have a Gryffindor who's slightly disassociated from the main heroes who are Slytherin. I would love to see that play out in the big screen or in some long form visual media. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing just watching it. It was like, if you ever get a chance, try to get a matinee showing during the week. They're like $56 at the Pantages. They're there till I believe June 22nd. I believe
I gotta get on that then.
You gotta check it out. I really enjoyed it. I think I don't think my kids would, even though my kids are Harry Potter fans, I don't think they would enjoy this. It's a little. I think you would. It's really good.
You got to have more patience to sit through it. So if you're older, like a teenager,
yeah, he'll be able to. But,
yeah, for sure.
But my 10-year-old, who's a big Harry Potter fan, he would not sit through it. He would not sit through it. It is great. The the first shot is them at the train station.
Yeah.
And they do the whole. They're in suits and they're getting ready to go to Hogwarts, to 9 3/4 the platform. And it's great because they actually run towards center stage towards you, and they do a twirl, and they have their robes on.
Oh wow!
And it looks amazing. You're like, whoa!
Yeah.
And it's all about lighting.
Stagecraft is amazing. Like,
yeah, it's really well done. I mean, they do the whole ninja thing, which is a lot of people dressed in black in the background, but it's done so well that 9 out of 10 times you wouldn't notice it.
Well, do you remember the Beauty and the Beast Broadway show that came out back in the 90s? One of the it had a lot of really great big set pieces and special effects, but the most exciting one was the transformation from Beast back to Prince. Like that would happen in real time on the stage. And to this, like, I haven't seen it. I watched it a few times live. Well, we used to have a big theater here. I talked about it before, called the Schubert. That's long dead and gone since like 2001.
Oh, Schubert.
It was like destroyed and turned into like a office space and parking lot. It's sad.
Oh yeah, we need more of those.
Yeah, and so it's sad. But at the time I got to see that with my high school class, and then I think I went with a girlfriend at the time to go watch it. And dude, like that scene always like amazed me. I don't know how they did it, but you essentially, just like in the movie, remember how like the beast rises up and like he gets enveloped in light and color and smoke, and he twirls a little bit, and as he twirls, he turns into a man. I don't know how they did that like in real time in the stage. Maybe I'm imagining it to be more fantastic than it really was, but in my memory, it was magical. It was amazing. And so to hear that they've come that far where they can do like special effects like that, I believe it.
They do polyjuice on stage.
Wow.
Where they transform to different characters, which
Really?
is great. The most amazing part was the mentors.
Okay.
I thought they were puppets, and then I thought they were like just cardboard cutouts. But once you see what they do, you're like, wow, I still don't know how they did that.
That's
the
great.
The mentors are insane. There's 3 Dementors in the thing that they show. It's great.
So let me just say this because we went off a little off topic, but I like that. I'm super excited about watching this, so I'm definitely going to put that on my to watch. You say in June,
June 22nd.
So I'll definitely watch it, and if you guys ever get to watch it when it travels, because I'm sure it's a traveling.
Right now it's a traveling production. Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys will get to watch it. So as far as musical goes, I really think you should put Hedwig in, because one, the music is really relatable. The topic is really relatable. It's really fun and interesting. And because there's a lot more serious matter. I know you love it, but I'm just saying that is a gateway musical, I think, where you can then from there, you could easily from that transition into Cabaret. Because I think Cabaret is so self-serious. You need something that is almost as self-serious to go into that. Because if you were to go from like Moulin Rouge into Cabaret, that's so jarring if you're not a musical fan.
That wouldn't work.
Right. But if you do like Hedwig, that has like rock and roll music, but it's also, the story is a little bit more darker, for lack of a better way of explaining it, then Cabaret, I mean, clearly it's about like World War II Nazism becoming like, like there's always the hint of like, the Nazis taking over. Cause that's really what you see like in the background when you see the audience members.
Are you talking about Cabaret or are you talking about America Now?
I'm talking about all right. So speaking of special effects though, from going from the Harry Potter movie.
Oh, one more thing about Harry Potter though. That would have been a great musical. That Cursed Child, that would have been a great musical.
Huh. I think at some point they were thinking about that. That would have
been great. That would have been great.
Well, so the summer's coming up and I'm like, dude, I'm stoked for like the movies coming out. I'm really excited for Fantastic Four right now. Like, I'm really excited for it.
I saw the trailer. I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of confused why they chose I forget the name of the character, but the female Silver Surfer for it though.
They haven't released which version she plays, and I'm fine with that. Like,
no,
dude, I don't get up all like bent out of shape when you have like gender swap characters.
No.
You have race swap characters. I don't.
She's not a gender swap
for sure. But there are people who initially tried to act like it was, and until you realize that there is a historical basis, there's a in comic book reference basis. I mean, yeah. But they haven't told you what.
I just wonder why they went with that route. I'm not against it. I think it's interesting. I think it's good.
I think they went that route because. Okay, so this goes into what I think is what Marvel's trying to do with the Fantastic Four, because it's clearly the Fantastic Four takes place in the alternate timeline.
Yes.
Right. And you have such a heavy hitter like Galactus, who is known for
Shrunk down to
destroying worlds.
size.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. Galactus can do that.
Yeah.
Like he. Okay, so do you remember in the 2004 movie where he came out and he's just a cloud of smoke?
Yeah.
And people hated that. But the reality is, Galactus is in the comic book portrayed as an amorphous thing that takes shape based on the species that he's attacking. So they sort of made him somewhat kind of like a cosmic horror, like H.P. Lovecraftian in that sense that he becomes, in order for people to witness him, witness me, like he becomes humanoid in nature, and then he can shrink down to size based on the need of the story. But essentially he is like this amorphous thing. That's how historically well, no, that's not true. Not historically, but that's what they moved him towards in the, I don't know, it was 70s or 80s when they would draw him. He always goes back to the big helmeted with the horn shaped head, whatever. But dude, in the original movie 2004, like I hated that ultimately he did not become that. I still held hope into the very end that they were going to show his face or arm. So mad, but I'm glad.
Didn't they show his silhouette inside the cloud of his helmet?
If they did,
I remember I only watched it once, so I may be wrong, but I remember there being like flashes of lightning inside that storm cloud, that space storm cloud.
Yeah.
And then you see the his silhouette inside of the helmet. I may be wrong though.
If they did that, man, that's like a big like two-fisted middle fingers to like the audience, because they'll be all like, I mean, hey, you know what? We know what you want to see. Here's a shadow of him.
Yeah, this is going to be,
maybe the sequel will show him. I don't know. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
This is the 5th remake or the 5th attempt at doing Fantasy 4 properly.
Wait a minute. So walk me through the other. I know that there was a really bad.
There's the Roger Corman one.
Okay,
that's the original, really, really bad one.
What year did that come out in?
90 something or other. It wasn't meant to come out. What happened was They hired Roger Corman. They told him, "Hey, you want to do Fantastic Four?" And he said, "Yeah." And he tried to do it as comic accurate as possible from the 90s. But they didn't tell him that it was just because they wanted to keep the Marvel rights for the movie. They were never intended to release it. That's why they gave it to him. So then that came out. That was a big crap in a hat. It didn't come out in the movies. They shelved it. Then there was the Fox attempt with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba and all them, which actually I enjoyed. Michael Chiklis and all. I enjoyed it.
I thought that was I liked it.
I liked the first one.
I think it was a legitimate attempt.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
fun.
I think it was good. I think some of its thunder was stolen by The Incredibles because they were very similar in tone. But I enjoyed it. Then
it was also that it was mediocre.
Yeah,
like I mean, when you bear it down, it was mediocre. Like Spider-Man was so good because it not only looked
Fantastic Four. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four.
Like Spider-Man looked like Spider-Man. He acted like Spider-Man. He lived in a world that was very much Spider-Man-esque.
Yeah.
And any sort of like creative licenses that they took within that world felt authentic.
Yeah.
And so the
Organic Webbers was cool. I think that was cool.
Yeah. And so in essence, it almost became lore in the comics later on because of how good it was. And that's good when that happens. There's no way to map such a thing out. It just happens when you have good creative people behind stuff. Because I mean, Sam Raimi was responsible for that. Yeah. But look, he screwed the pooch on the third one and later on
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which by the way, I really like that movie, but I understand why people don't like it. So I'm not going to argue against it.
And then there was Rise of the Silver Surfer after that, which felt a little rushed, and then it killed the franchise.
Speaking of which,
then there was
you were right, by the way. You were right. The shadow comes out twice in Rise of the Silver Surfer. Like once as it's passing by Saturn, you can see a shadow, and it's basically his head and the horns against the planet. Which is weird. I don't know how that would happen. And then you also have you're right, in the cloud, you can sort of see this shape. It's not as clear as the one on Saturn, but you can see a shape of like a humanoid shape. But dude, that just looks like two big ass middle fingers
Yeah,
to people.
that's how I felt about
That
it
is
when
like
I
a
watched.
lazy reference.
I think that's why it stuck in my head because I was like, dude, that is such an insult.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after that, there was the director who did Chronicle. Remember Chronicle? The state
yeah,
captain?
awesome.
He did Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan
Yes,
as Johnny B.
And
Storm.
Miles Davis, I think.
Yeah, Miles Davis as Mr. Fantastic, and what's her name? Mara.
I was gonna say Mara Jade.
Mara Jade. Yeah, me too.
Star Wars.
That's why I stopped. Star Wars.
Mara.
Yeah,
Mara Rooney.
Mara Rooney. Yes, she's
yeah.
Mara Rooney.
Dude, I
Mara Rooney.
love her. By the way, man, I had such a crush on her.
I like her in certain movies. Oh no, I don't find her attractive. Sorry.
I do.
I don't.
do. Like, do you remember the first season of House of Cards?
Yeah, I remember.
Loved her in that, man. She was
Yeah,
so great.
but I just wasn't. I'm not attracted. I think she's a great actress, but yeah, no attraction.
She's a great actress as well. I think she's a great actress as well.
Anyway, so that movie was horrendous.
I wouldn't say it was her.
It was horrendous.
Okay, I'm an apologist, I guess. I do like it.
You just like because Mara was in it. That's why it was donkey dunk.
It was.
It really was bad, dude.
It was.
It was bad. So
okay, so here's the thing.
It killed the franchise 100%.
Define bad. Like what is bad to you? We need to create a baseline here of what is bad. Because I don't know. I can't take you seriously.
Aesthetically unpleasing.
Okay. Because of the dark colors.
Redesigns that make no effing sense, including Doom, taking a character like that and actually giving you a melted, silly putty metal looking thing that with none of its origin behind it whatsoever.
Okay.
And also, and then the story is okay, but the thing is, and this is not the director's fault though. It's the studio.
Yeah.
The studio got involved, cut his budget through production, cut his film without his consent.
Too many dicks in the boardroom.
Too many dicks. Too many dicks in the boardroom.
Yeah, they're all like putting their hands into it.
Dude, when you get that many chefs in a kitchen, you're gonna make crap soup every single time.
Yeah.
Okay.
With how expensive eggs are these days, man, all we can do is rely on Angel's half nuts.
My nuts. Yeah. Anyway,
your
mis
huevos.
huevos. But yeah, no, that movie was horrendous. It really was.
Yeah. And fair enough.
Let me put it this way: there's the holy quad because it's not even a trilogy. You have Madam Web, Craven,
Trash. Oh,
Morbius.
No, Craven was fun.
I haven't
Craven
finished
was
it.
fun.
I haven't finished it. I stopped. Madam Web, I couldn't finish.
Trash.
I'm sorry. I couldn't finish
Pure
it.
trash.
Morbius,
Trash.
Fantastic Four. There's your craptastic four right there.
So okay, so let me just say that I think Fantastic Four with the 4 in the title, it's like it was. I took my kid and I took his mom to go watch it. I remember we
and that's why they're no longer together.
No.
You brought me to this.
Okay, that was shut up. So it was. Yeah, we walked out kind of perplexed too. I watched it again and I was like, yeah, this is an all right movie because I like the director. What's his name?
I love the director.
What's his name again?
I don't remember his name, but I've seen some
Chronicle is such
so
great,
good.
Dude, just like all right, so you know what? Here's the thing. Do you remember Brightburn?
I have Brightburn.
Okay, so Brightburn was Brightburn was Peter Gunn's I'm sorry, James Gunn. James Gunn.
Okay, Mancini.
It wasn't. Was it written by him or just produced by him?
It was written by him.
Okay, and then he had a friend who directed it, and I know that like a lot of his usual like circle of friends were involved in it, and it had and he covertly made the movie. He didn't announce it was being made. He kept it all under wraps because at the time he was like wanting to like surprise everybody and just put it out and. But then it got moved from a November screening into like a summer, like May or something of the following year. I think it would have done better as a November film.
I believe so.
The whole movie is the Superman take, where, what if alien comes to the planet and instead of becoming the savior of humanity becomes something else, right? That was a tagline.
Speaking of Superman and James Gunn. What are your thoughts on the new Superman?
Well, I'm going to get into that because because in Brightburn, like you take that same idea of a family, the whole thing that makes, because I'm excited for the Superman movie. I'll answer that question.
I'm a huge fan of Superman.
I'm excited for the Superman movie. I really think that just like Guardians of the Galaxy, people were like super thinking it was going to be bad. I was a little bit more hopeful about it. I know that at the time we were at Doers or Dryers or wherever, and we were talking about how it was depending. I think the movie hadn't come out yet. Did it come out by then? Because we've been doing this for a while now, this podcast. And I remember we talked about, it might have been before, where like the expectation was if any movie was going to fail of the Marvel movies, it was going to be Guardians. Because right at that time, Marvel had already been on a steady like hit streak for like, 8 years?
Yeah, and Guardians seems such a left field, like what? Team?
Because in my memory, like I remember the 90s lineup. I remember John Doe.
Yeah.
Yondu, sorry, John Doe.
Yeah. John Doe is his American name, like his, when he's on Earth, I'm John Doe.
I'm dude, you know what? You can make a whole clip of like my,
John Doe.
My vote pause here. But anyways, Yondu, and I remember just like the comic and just like it was cool. Like I have like some of the 90s issues and I just never loved it. I was like, what is interesting about this? Obviously, I loved James Gunn, so I was more optimistic. I'm very optimistic that he's going to get the Superman thing right. Because for me, Superman is about the idea of like nature versus nurture, inherent goodness found in values that you pass on to people. And I think that Superman is the embodiment of that. It's the reason why you can take Superman and have him set in Russia, and then it becomes the comic Red Sun, where instead of being a hero for a country, because he in America, he's a representation of America and American values, and therefore he's good. You put him in Russia, and then he becomes, the mouthpiece of propaganda for the communists, and it makes sense. Right?
And what about when he does the UK version? Have you seen that one? The one that John Cleese from Monty Python did rewrote one, or was it Eric Idle? One of the two. I don't remember. I think it was John Cleese. He did Superman UK.
Okay.
Which was a one-shot comic book.
How did it go?
It was hilarious. Huh. It's not as well known as Red Sun because Red Sun was like this epic thing, you know? Yeah. But the UK version, it's just silly. Like everything about it is silly. When he's discovering his powers, he accidentally injures this one cricket player. So that guy comes back as a villain named Batman with a bat through him. It's so hilarious.
That's great.
There's all these stupid like takes that it makes it so good. I have it somewhere, I think. If I find it, I gotta lend it to you, man.
And that was a comic?
Yeah. John Cleese Superman. It's so good. It's a one shot. It's an Elseworld one shot.
So I'm gonna look it up right now and we'll see. So
we'll see.
Well, I'll see. I'm trying to hold on to my thought here. So Brightburn takes the idea of like Superman being raised by a family, and dude, like arguably the family's really good. Like they're really good. They try to raise him right.
Isn't the mom Elizabeth Banks?
Yeah. And they try to raise him right and everything. And yet, no matter what, this kid was always going to be bad. There was just like to understand his motivation of why he becomes this bad guy is very, very difficult to understand. Yeah. And so I think that's where the movie fails. I think where they could have like really done better by that storyline is really like bear down that the family unit is what destroyed him. He was bullied. He was bullied, so that kind of makes sense why he would like rebel against people. But they don't do enough to sort of like propagate the idea that maybe the family values that once were supposedly like the idea of what made our country good, like back in the 50s and 60s, and why, or even farther back in the 20s. Why Superman would have been raised by a Kansas family and suddenly he would be a good, Christian American or whatever. Because I mean, if I recall at the time he did believe in Jesus Christ. I think they referenced Superman being like Christian. Yeah. Anyways, in Brightburn, what would have worked would have been if the character had been raised by a family that wasn't quite as good, and therefore he represented their values. That would have been a much more interesting story. So as far as Superman goes, I'm excited for it because I want to see James Gunn really portray Superman as a good guy. And the last time Superman was a good guy was the Christopher Reeves
version.
Yeah,
because the Superman Returns, what's his name? Bryan Singer's version. He was just a super creeper, super stalker. There wasn't nothing original on that one. I mean, I did enjoy it, but yeah, it wasn't that great. So this one,
Superman True Brit.
that's the name of it.
That's what it's called,
Yeah.
and that's dude. That's
Is it
hilarious.
John Cleese or Eric Idle?
It's John Cleese and Kim Howard Johnson.
Yeah, John Cleese.
So John Byrne or Byrne,
Byrne, yeah.
and Mark Farmer did the artwork. And dude, John Byrne or Byrne is amazing. He's the guy who did Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
He did the artwork for Kick-Ass. His
Yeah.
dad, Arthur, or not Arthur. I was thinking Arthur Adams, but no. I know John Byrne is part of he had a. I believe he has either a kid or he has a dad that was also an artist. I could be wrong. I don't know. Let's take a look. Anyways, yeah, dude, he's great. Like,
Yeah, well, I recommend you checking it out. I'm gonna see if I can go to my mom's and get my copy for you. But
yeah, I would love to
it was
read that. If
classic.
not, there's a website. I'm gonna admit this on air. When I
Link right here.
website?
when I
What website?
Say it out loud.
Pornhub.
Corn.
Corn Hub.
Elote.
No,
There actually is a corn hub.
there is a Corn Hub.
No, seriously, there is a corn hub. They specifically called corn hub, and it's just videos of kernels and cobs and
Being turned into corn syrup.
yeah, basically high fructose corn syrup.
I just, you know what? I would want to like Google Corn Hub and actually it'd be videos of like actual, porn, but with like, instead of like, like the phalluses, it'd just be corns. People. I mean, that would be funny to me, dude. I mean, it'd be a little violent though. That'd be kind of weird watching a corn. No, okay, you know what? Never
I can
mind.
Google it right here. It'll show
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
Ah, hey.
nope. For those that don't know,
Those are
actually,
sponsors.
I'm not gonna say
Don't
nothing.
say nothing.
I'm not gonna say nothing. Nothing.
Well, okay, so there's a lot of remakes coming out. Let's just say that, and a lot of sequels. So
I'm excited about 28 years later.
28 years
I
later is
just found
coming
out
out.
about it yesterday.
Oh,
about
really?
You guys.
Really? Well, it's coming out. It's gonna be great.
'Cause
The
I
one
have all,
shocker
my
to it.
ads turned off, so I never find out.
Oh, that's why.
I explicitly go and type in new
To look
movies
for it.
coming up.
Yeah. So 28 years later, the thing I'm excited about, not just because Danny Boyle's involved and Cillian Murphy's coming back for the sequel to this one, because it's going to be, I think, a 2 or 3 parter for this one. What I am excited about is the fact that we're going to be doing this movie in using an iPhone.
Okay.
So it's a shot with an iPhone. They added all this stuff to it, of course, but the core is an iPhone. So that'd be pretty good.
There's been movies, like not mainstream movies, but there've been movies that have been done with iPhone. So I know that it's not like such a shocking thing, like to film using an iPhone and come up with something good that's good quality, especially with all the editing tools that are available. The limitations really are just the people and the skill set of the people that are working on on the after, or the post.
Yeah. Speaking of which, full disclosure, now you're going to see that's only these 2 cameras, that one and this one going, because our third is an iPhone and it just storage full.
Okay.
They're fine.
Cool.
Oh, boo.
Put a
Boo.
SD card in it.
Yeah, man.
Womp, womp,
Why-
womp.
Right? I don't like morning people or mornings or people. Derp derp.
Or Enrique.
With his like no space memory having phone.
Hey, man. Hi. I forgot I wasn't saying my memory's full. Okay, so yeah, 20 years later, I'm excited about that one.
So
There's
why are
also-
you excited by it? Like
Because I'm a huge
why does it
fan of
have
the
to
series.
exist? Like okay,
Wasn't it like the movie where the zombies were actually like full of energy and they ran and chased
Well,
people?
it wasn't the first movie that
hold
did
on.
that.
On the
though.
wait, no, both you're both off.
Okay, what year did it come out?
The first movie did not have zombies in it. The first movie, they're actually live rabid people.
Mm-hmm.
Just with time, they started looking zombified because of the effects of the rage virus, as it was called. Okay. Fun fact: I actually went to a special screening at the Ford Theater right there in Universal Studios for that one before it came out anywhere, and they told us wear red and get a free surprise. And I wore red, and they gave me a T-shirt with the 28 days later on the front, and in the back it had like on the first day this happened, on the second week this happened. It was such a cool shirt. I was so excited. The atmosphere to that theater was awesome, and just watching it, it's not just because I'm a huge Danny Boyle fan, but it was a great movie. But yeah, it actually was the starting point to the what's the word I'm looking for, the renaissance of zombie flicks, because it wasn't a zombie flick, but it was zombie adjacent. So that's why they were able to run in all that, because
I think
these were humans. Huh?
You're splitting hairs on that one, but okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just telling you because I'm telling you exactly what Danny Boyle said too.
Okay.
So it was a renaissance to the zombie flicks. After that, there was a remake of a small 1970s movie called Dawn of the Dead, which
2 years later.
Which I was like a little like, ugh, a remake of my favorite zombie movie, which was George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. How they can do this, it's going to be crap. I was so wrong, and I'm so happy that I was wrong, because that movie was amazing.
Okay, so I'm gonna say something controversial here, but I think the reason why the remake was so much, okay, let me watch my words. I think it was so good because I love it. I love the Zack Snyder remake. I think it's a great movie, but I think the reason why it was a great movie is because that movie is what in our heads we thought the original Dawn of the Dead was. And let me clarify. The original Dawn of the Dead movie, it's a great movie. It's a masterpiece. It's a great movie. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I'm not, because it's a great movie. I took a class, an English class in which we took different movies and we like basically analyzed them, right, for like sociological context and stuff like, and why they worked, and that was one of the movies that we focused on. And dude, the movie obviously it's not like this hidden analysis that, you know, people know that it's a take on like consumerism of
the original,
America, and all that. But when you really look at the movie, man, the pacing of the movie, it's very comical. It's very it's not as dark as we remember it. Like, I think that when we think of the Dawn of the Dead movie and Night of the Living Dead, we think that they're these like really scary, dark movies, and maybe not scary, but you know what I mean? Like, just like there's a lot more weight to them.
Like, at what age did you watch them? Also has like a big impact on.
I think that's exactly right. 100% right. Because growing up, you think that it's going to have that same weight, and you watch it later and you're like, it's not anything like that, but it's still a great movie on its own. It still has, you know, funny moments. It still has great sequences. It's great. I think Dawn of the Dead, on the other hand, is what you remembered the original being in terms of like the weight of the darkness of it, and it's less about, you know, the consumerism, and there is no analysis in the remake, dude. It's just a straight like zombie movie with a lot of fun sequences, and just at the end of you know it just ends in such a dark way. I think it's a fun movie. I really like it. That's why I think that remake worked, because of that. I think it was audience expectation meeting out what we thought was going to be, right? Because if you try to compare the two as like movies, they're very different. They're very, other than the setting.
Before we run out of time, let's also mention 28 Months Later, which was a great story as well. Great acting in it. It wasn't as good as 28 Days Later, but it was a great movie, nonetheless.
Okay, so here's the thing. 28 Days Later, I will say that it is a zombie movie, because splitting hairs is, okay, what is a zombie? It's a reanimated corpse, right? That's a popular idea of a zombie. But what makes a zombie movie good? It's not that because there's been tons of movies where reanimated corpses. I mean, Jason Voorhees is a zombie by all intentions, but we would never call that movie a zombie movie.
Zombie.
28 Days Later is a zombie movie because it takes all of the things that we expect from what we consider to be zombie movies. That is the falling of society through some mass epidemic of some sort that afflicts the human body and makes them become carnivorous, or at least become antagonistic towards anybody that's alive, right?
Yes.
And so that's what 28 Days Later is, right? These guys are very much, it's like saying the movie The Crazies by John Carpenter isn't a zombie movie, and to some degree
The Crazies is George Romero, by the way.
But it was John Carpenter who directed it, right?
No, I think it's George Romero.
Oh my God, what am I talking about then?
Yeah, I think that was his second approach. I'm sorry.
You know what? Me la pelas, cabrón. Pélamela. Yeah, I said it. Peel it.
Thick cheese.
Anyways, so
as long as you look at me when you bite the banana.
Hey, remember, you're not supposed to make eye
Brother,
contact.
ew.
Hey, if you make eye contact, then you have to like take you out to dinner, and no one's about that life, so.
It was just a good segue into the.
Speaking of, no.
So crazy.
Before the crazies is George Romero.
Dang it.
But real quick, because we're running out of time here. Okay, so let me just go real quick. Shut up. Jurassic World Rebirth. Excited? Not excited? No.
Whatever.
Right.
Skip.
Ballerina from the world of John Wick.
Yeah. Okay. Are we gonna do this list out? That's boring.
I'm trying to go through as quick as possible. We got less than minutes left. I'm trying to stick to.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's not do the listing. I'm not going to do the listing, but I will say that Ballerina looks like it's a cool movie. I like the idea of the John Wick, fleshing out its world. I think it's great. So yeah.
The only ones that I'm actually excited for is maybe How to Train a Dragon.
Oh,
live action and Lilo and Stitch.
So, okay, we were going to originally talk about those movies. I think we should definitely revisit the topic on our next show. I really think that live action movies made from animated films, if you would have asked me like 2 years ago, should they happen? I would say like, no. Like every attempt has sucked with some exceptions. But
I like Beauty and the Beast.
I think that... it's a good movie, but honestly, we could do without it.
It doesn't need to exist. It really doesn't.
Most like live action Disney movies should just not have existed.
I 1,000% agree.
But Lilo and Stitch looks like it's going to be really fun, and How to Train a Dragon actually looks like it's really cool. I'm excited for it.
I agree.
Like I'm excited for it. I really think they nailed the way the dragon looks, and I really like the actors. Like all the actors that you see on the trailers look like their characters, and I know that what's his name, Gerard Butler, is that his name?
Yeah,
he's reprising his voice role as the dad, and I think that's great. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really great movie. So when we watch it, definitely we'll come back with a review of it and our thoughts on it. But I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we'll put a pin on that and talk about it afterwards when we get a review. Enrique, anything else you want to add before we go?
Yeah, The Crazies is a zombie movie, and so is 28 Days Later.
Isaac, well, you don't have nothing to say because you don't have a microphone.
Zombie movie.
I don't have anything to say either.
Nothing?
All right, I'm bored.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for this one. Oh, well, I'm looking over there, but that one's dead, so I'm looking over here now. And then you're looking over there.
No, let's look at the dead camera.
Let's look at the dead camera, huh?
See, how awkward is that? With your no.
I was still going to say Ultimate Muffin. Screw you, dude.
Hey,
2 episodes now.
You're giving him way too much. It's like the boogeyman, bro. Like you don't acknowledge the boogeyman.
Oh.
The more you do, the more power you give him. I invited him on the last show to repost his comment. Like stand by your principles. I think it's great. Continue to do it. Other than that, I don't want to talk about that guy again.
And remember,
unless he wants to talk to us, then we will talk to you.
Never make eye. You say it.
Yeah, don't make eye contact while eating the banana unless you're going to take him out to dinner.
That was awkward.
Good
night, everybody. Good night.
Gotta make it worth it.